Hey everyone. Okay. Hi everyone. Hey, I had to put Lucy on because my hair was really acting bad. I couldn't do anything with it, so I had to put Lucy on. But tonight it's something different, everybody. I was tapping into my beautiful intuition, like because that's what I do like on this show, right? And I was tapping into it, and guess what? I did something different over on my Beauty in a Bottles YouTube page. I don't necessarily need that page because my Beauty in a Bottles Facebook page is doing so well that I don't need the page over here on YouTube. So, with that being said, I switched it around to Intuitive Tap Council. And what I'm going to be doing over there, everyone, is I am going to be doing different little snips, like, about how to cope with this so you don't have to use that. And that would be the tap. That's the beautiful part of that Intuitive Tap Council. So don't forget to go over there to Intuitive Tap Council and hit that subscribe button so you can know when I go and make the little videos over there, because it's different than here. But anyhow, welcome everybody back again, and we're going to tap out something. We're just going to, there's something happening. I'm feeling a vibration. Once I got off, I couldn't let you go in my mind. And I honestly, I had to go over and flip so many things around because I'm like, man, there's people hurting out there. We're all hurting in some way. We all need a little bit of encouragement in some way, no matter who we are, how rich we are, how poor we are. It doesn't matter. We all are in some kind of situation where we need a little bit of oomph from somebody, right? Other than people that we've been talking to, that other than people, I'm sure, listen, I'm sure everybody's got somebody they talk to and they go to, but that's that person. But when you get a different person's perspective like mine that uses their intuition, that's different, right? Because I'm on here and I'm not gonna give you no sugar-coated bullshit to make you feel good. I'm gonna give you some words from my intuition that you need to help you get through whatever situation it is, so you don't need a drug or a medication or a prescription to help you get through it, right? So, I mean, there's two different things, right? So, yeah. But don't forget, everybody, to go over and hit the subscribe for Intuitive Tap Council. And I'm using my intuition to counsel, right? Okay, so anyhow, right here, I've got some albums tonight, everyone. We're going to be rocking the albums tonight. We're going to be doing the albums, and we're going to be putting whatever it is on the albums. Because, man, I tell you what, there is so much stuff going on, and so many people that are on here. I can feel it, that vibration that needs some kind of just some kind of intuitive help in some way or another. And I'm glad you're on because, I can feel the vibration. And everybody's stressed out about so many things: the economy, jobs, um family, friends, whatever you're on that you want to get off, whatever's happening, you right. So let's just do something tonight. Let's just have fun with this night, and just and take it to the board, and everybody hit that subscribe, hit that like. Hey, listen, I greatly appreciate it. But I gotta rough this up because roughing up the board gives me a good clarity on everything. So a girl's gotta rough it up, Tina. She's about to. Okay, let me see. Hold on a second. And I wasn't going to start here, everybody, but my intuition said, Tina, tonight is a night where you gotta be serious. You can't be just running up and down in your bra, right? You can't. People are hurting out there, right? Hey, Tina, thank you. MW. Hi, Germany. Where are you from? Pennsylvania. Hi, Daniel. Hi, everybody. It's on. So we're going to rough this board up, and we're going to find out what the heck's going on. What do we need to know, right? Because I need to know where the heck the scrubber is. Scrubber, where are you at? It's over there. Hold on a second, everyone. Sorry about that. Is it? Yep. I thought I had it in my hand. Isn't that something? And use my intuition on that one. Okay, so here we go, everyone. Let's see. And everyone, the power lies. I'll tell you about that then. But the power lies within you. Hi, honey. Okay, so I'm going to scratch this board and we're just going to let this light just take over our minds, right? And whatever, I'll tell you what, I'll let the board, this album tell me what I need to like say to all of you. I'll just let the board just tell me what. Thank you, Noah's on. Thank you, everybody. B's on. Robert's on, right? EM Double's on. Daniela's on. All right, everybody, and other people that I can't see because they're not on actually in the comments, right? All right, that's good. So tonight, everybody, there's something special because I'm opening my. I asked God as soon as I got off. Let me talk about this real quick, everybody. Like I just like I said, I've had this intuition ever since I was 7 years old, and I said to the Lord, I said, man, how do I help others with this? Because I know so much about stuff, like I can see it, but how do I help people? But how do you want me to use this? And boy, did it opening up today, right? Man, I'll tell you. So everybody, if you want to see the videos and the snippets, and when I. Okay, when we're scrubbing, yeah. Okay, so Phil, you can go take a hike. How about that? Because you're fixing to not be helped at all with your life. You just go. We don't need people like you around. Listen, everybody, if you come, there's a disclaimer on this show, and I'm gonna tell you right now what it is about. When you come on this channel with disrespect, you go with disrespect in your heart, because I'm not tolerating disrespect on this channel at all. So just like Phil came on with his disrespect, he got off with his disrespect. I'm not putting up with that, because if you're going to come on my channel and disrespect me when I don't come on your channel and disrespect you, if you don't believe my intuition, then there is thousands upon thousands, hundreds of thousands of channels on YouTube that you can watch. You don't have to watch mine if you don't believe in me, or you don't believe in my message, or you don't believe in my wording. So Phil came on, and McCracken came on. That probably ain't even his real name, everybody. You know how people are stupid and use the keyboard idiots are just on point, right? But when you come on and you have such disrespect when I'm trying to help people or give a kind word that will make somebody feel better about their self, or have a different point of view about something. Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Roger. Hi. Yes, absolutely. You can't do that, everybody, because you don't go on people's pages and discredit them. That if you don't like them, you just go, right? Okay. All right. So let's just find out what this board has. And I ain't fixing to. I can tell you this right now. I ain't fixing to try to persuade anyone on here. Okay. You either like me, you don't. You either get it or you don't. You either absorb or you don't. You either learn something or you don't. That's just, there's no this right or left. It's right in the center. My mom always said that. There's no this or that. We don't want to hear all this and that. Everybody, there is God, seriously, everybody wants sugar-coated bullshit. Because if you don't give them sugar-coated bullshit, then you're fake. Well, I'm here to tell you, I ain't giving you sugar-coated bullshit. I'm going to tell you truth. And if you don't like it, guess what? I don't care. But I will not sugarcoat anything that my intuition has to say. anything that I have to say that is pertaining to something so serious, I am not sugarcoating a goddamn thing. Do you understand me? So when people come on and they want this or that, life is not like that. See, everybody runs this game of it has to be this or that. No, it's that. There is no black and white. It's right here center and right here standing truth, right? There is no this or that, everybody. This is why the world's so messed up. This is why people are so messed up, because they don't know whether to go right, left, and they don't know to go up or down. You know what I'm saying? I ain't in the mood for that. Yeah. You want to see my eyes. You know, the eyes are the windows of the soul, everybody, right? There you go. And I'm sorry, I know. My glasses, I know, right? I wish I'm gonna, when I go to the doctors, the eye doctors, I'm gonna see if I can not have to wear these glasses, but my eyes are so dry. Yes, but I can't take my glasses off. Hell, I wouldn't be able to see. Are you crazy? Don't you just want me to see? For the love of Jesus, come on now. Okay, so when you see me looking this way, I'm looking at comments. Yeah. Hi, everybody. So if you want clarity, everyone, by my intuition, by my taps, by my art, if you want truth, if you want what's just, you came to the right place. I'm not a witch. There's no witchcraft here. Here we go. Here we go. There's no witchcraft here. There's no heebie-jeebie. I ain't got time for all that, everybody. There is nothing like that. So, so when people go, oh, that's witch, and no, I ain't fixing it. I don't want to hear all that. Don't want to hear all that. Okay, so let's get started. Let's see what my beautiful intuition taps out. And you know what? There's something so magnificent. Oh my God, there's someone it's a girl, a woman, a lady. There's something beautiful. There's something good on the horizon. I don't know if, hold on a minute, everybody. Let me tap down into this. Let me tap it down into this. Okay, here we go. Let me tap it down. Okay, let's get the art started, because if not, I'm gonna probably go unhinged on a few people. Okay, let's use Big Bertha tonight. Are you going to record? With the statement, yes, absolutely. Let's go on the record with the statement. Shut up, people. Come on. I'm going to go on with the statement. Absolutely. Let's go on with a statement. Yes. Okay, everybody, let's just see. Just calm your nerves down, people, okay? This is the reason why the world's so wild. Okay, this is why people are doing shit. Calm your nerves down, okay? Seriously. Take a goddamn chill pill. How about that? Take a chill pill and literally calm down and let me work this art for all of you. Because when you're doing all this ramming and jamming and talking stupid, that ain't getting us nowhere. So let's just see what this art has to say. Because, when you come on here, I don't tolerate bullshit. I can guarantee you that right now. I'm a nice woman, but I don't tolerate it. So let's find out what this art has to say. For all of you that are on here with, oh my God. Yeah, thank you. There's a girl, she could be watching now or maybe later, but somebody's pregnant or getting ready to have a baby or going to have a baby or something, right? I can see it. I can see this pregnant woman, this pregnant girl. I can see her. And that, you know what? Yeah. Um, oh my God. You're going to be, whoever this is, that is a girl that's pregnant, you're going to have to really do a lot on your own, because you're not going to be able to rely on the father. He's not going to be around. He's not fixing to be around. You know, he's just one of those kind of guys that, you hate to say it, that, that's here nor there. Fools you say. Okay, so look at this. I mean, we're starting this out. I'm going to put some beautiful, I'm going to put some stank up on this. Let's put some pink on this, because this is just, there's something strong coming in here. Something beautiful. Let's just open this show up with some really beautiful positive art, right? Let's see where my mind takes me with this. Someone's going to have a baby girl. Maybe that's what it is. She's going to have a baby girl too. Whoever that is. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. It's like, whoever watches this, you're going to have a baby girl. Look at this. Yes, yes, King. I do intuitive tap art. So when I'm tapping into something, I do my art. That's what I do. Look at this. No, the record itself is the record, and the record is what I tap the information on. Look at that. That's beautiful. That is really beautiful for a good opening, right? Because I can feel like this girl has been wanting this baby for a long time. And this has been a lot. But I feel like, yeah, but this is, I think she has some boys, but this is a girl. But unfortunately, the father, I mean, you're going to be struggling, girl. You're going to be struggling to do that on your own like that, because, everybody, it's like, be careful who you lay down with, because, what you wish for and what you don't wish for are two different things, right? And sometimes we can see the glass half empty and not full. And so when we look at a glass and we go, wow, I see this, and I want this. But do you really want it? Because you're seeing that glass half empty, right? And so you're seeing that glass, right? And it's half empty, and you're trying to make it full. And you're going, but I want that. And then when you get that, but then there's reality checks of so many different things, right? Especially when it comes to having kids and different things. You got to make sure that, when you're having a child, that father can financially help you with the child. Do you know what I mean? He got to financially be there, you know? Yes, that's right. So, when you're looking at life, everyone, you got to say, when you're looking at life, right? And it's like, you're sitting there and going, but you know what? But I want this. And then we want it so much. And then when we get it, sometimes it's like, oh my goodness, but we got this. But then this just wasn't what I expected. But I got this. But how do I handle this? Because I got this, and I really don't want that, but I want this. Do you get what I'm saying, everybody? And so that's going with parenting. Like, when you have a child with someone, and you want that, but you don't want that. Like you're not jiving anymore with that, with the mother or the father. But the child's wonderful, right? You get what I'm saying? You gotta be careful, because sometimes when we want to bring kids into the world, we want that, but then we don't want that, if you know what I'm saying. And then that, which is the other parent, could be a real issue, right? And so when you do that and you go, I love that, but I don't love that. That's traumatic. That's I love this child, but that other part of that child has got a traumatic side to it, right? I'm telling you, everybody, be careful, because sometimes you got to step back and know what you want and know who you want it with. Because sometimes we can have children, we can have our love lives, and then that may not be the person who you're supposed to be with, even. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people in relationships, right, even on here, I can feel it. I can feel some kind of tension, like something weird. Like sometimes people are in a relationship for all the wrong reasons. And I feel like there's people watching that are in relationships for all the wrong reasons. And when you're in a relationship for all the wrong reasons, but there's some right reasons, right? There's always a right reason. But then there's a wrong reason. But that wrong reason suddenly becomes a big problem and a big reason, because it's like you have a person there, but you don't have a partner there, right? Because you're not in tune with that. You're not in line, in vibration with that, right? That's what I'm saying. So, when you sit and think, like with me, everyone, I'm a single lady and I don't have time to waste my time, right? Because when you sit and if you're with somebody because you need somebody there, that's wasting your time. That's wasting your time, your energy. And you could be with somebody who actually is to yin, to your yang. Do you get what I'm saying? So never settle because you need somebody right there beside you. You can't do that. That's not how life is, because when you settle and you're okay, you're here beside me. But we're not on this same wavelength, right? That never works. You gotta step back and go, okay, we can co-parent, but we can be friends, but we can't just, because we're not on this telepathic wavelength, right, to make this right. So that's what I'm saying, everybody. When you think about things. Yes, exactly. You need to love yourself first, and everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. But nobody wants to be lonely, right? Nobody wants to be lonely. But with me, everybody, I figured that I would rather sit in a room and talk to my paintings than sit in a room with somebody that I have to talk to my cell phone, or talk to all of you, right? It wouldn't make no sense to me, because I enjoy talking. So you have to find somebody that's the yin to the yang, because if you enjoy talking and you're sitting with somebody that the frequency and all that mechanism, how's that going to work? How's that going to work when you're enjoying talking and this and that? You get what I'm saying? But they're good at that. They're good at they're good at having children, or being a good friend, right? But when it comes to the yin to the yang, that's what matters the most. When you feel that vibration, that yin to the yang, when you feel that, then you know that, right? And a lot of people don't take the time to sit back and meet somebody to feel that yin to the yang. I do, because I'm not wasting my time. I ain't got time to waste. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But some people would rather settle for somebody being beside them than wait for that yin to the yang to come, right? Because we all don't want to be by ourselves. You know, we don't want to go on those little drives like me to Dunkin' Donuts by myself. But would you rather go on that slow drive by yourself than to be with somebody that you it's just not jiving in that department, right? Because if you can't hold somebody's hand that's beside you, then then what's the point in them being beside you? If they're your girlfriend or your boyfriend, what's the point if they're beside you? There is absolutely none, right? Because longevity, okay, longevity is when people are bold enough and strong enough to proclaim their love and hold that person's hand with gusto. And a lot of older people, you see them holding hands at very old ages. They've been through it. They've been through it. They know about love. They know about the um that intense euphoric yin to the yang, right? And a lot of people these days don't get that. They just don't get it. It's either we're good for having these children, but we're not good for this yin to the yang. There's something's got to give, everybody, right? And that's why so many people get a divorce, because your partner, you look at them and go, okay, well, they're good for this, but I really necessarily don't mean that they're good for that, right? And so that which is not necessarily good becomes a problem over time, everybody. I'm telling you right now, in any relationship, because what that problem becomes, or the uncomfortableness, or the lack thereof love, right? Yes, absolutely. I mean, so you gotta be on that. I'm telling you, everybody, you gotta wait for that. My mom always told me that. Yeah, man, my mom was a tough woman, but she taught me a lot, everyone. And 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 you gotta, I've never been married, and my mom told me, and my mom and dad said, you don't get married, because it takes this and this, and you're this age, and you're right. And people get married because they want a big ring and a big wedding, and all the people to show up at the wedding. But little do they know that love don't cost a thing. Love don't cost big rings and big weddings and all that. Because at the end of the day, all that stuff goes. And then what remains is you and that person sitting there on a sofa having coffee or talking or laughing, right? That's all that matters. Not big fancy things, right? Not big fancy rings. That ain't gonna hold up a marriage, right? It'll hold up on your hand. It makes your hand look good. But we're talking about longevity here. Longevity requires you to step outside your comfort zone and know that it's not about big weddings, big rings, but it's about the person that you're going to marry, the person that you want to be your yin to yang about, right? And I can remember, like, with my mom and my dad, they were, when they got married, um, they didn't even they didn't even have any rings. They had to borrow rings, but their marriage lasted until the day they died. It's not about a ring. It's about reality. It's about reality, not a ring. See, people get all this stuff twisted, everybody, in relationships, in having children, and in all kind of they get it twisted up, right? They get it twisted. Yes, there's so much more between humans. You're right. Yeah. There's so much more. Let me tap this. Let's get on to this. Let's get it. Let's get it and go, right? Let's do it. But look at how you're feeling inside, everybody. That's the clue right there. That's the clue. That's the sauce. What you're feeling inside, right? Because if you're sitting there, like, here's what I tell people. Like, if I'm going to go out on a date, say I go out on a date with you, right? I'm not going to have dinner with you. I'm going to have coffee with you because I'm the type of person, right? I need good conversation. I need a if you don't have good conversation with me, I can't, that's just right. When you're going to dinner with somebody, guess what? You're putting on your nice fancy clothes. You're putting on a fake smile. You're meeting that person at their finest, right? Because you're going to dinner and you want to look good and you want to feel good. You should look good every day. But this is the dating tip that I would suggest anybody that's single like me, never ever go to dinner with anyone. Go to have coffee. I always tell people, dress exactly how you would dress if you were just regularly just being you every day, right? Because when people can come as they are, they will tell you exactly who they are. You got to remember that, everybody. They will tell you exactly who they are if they come as they are. So if they're coming, if you're going to dinner, well, you're all in a fancy, who knows where you're going, right? You're all dressed up, and you know what I mean, right? The conversation's tight. You want a conversation that's loose and flowing, and you're enjoying yourself. And what better way over a cup of coffee, tea, or whatever, right? Even, I mean, ice cream, whatever the person, right? Yeah, well, I'll pray for you, honey. In my country, with your attitude, we're okay, honey. I will, baby, and you will. I remember this one time I had a friend, right? And she said, Tina, she goes, I wouldn't lie to none of you, everybody, okay? I wouldn't lie. And she says, I'm going on my fifth date today. And I'm like, fifth date today? She goes, yeah. She goes, and I got 5 dinners. Okay, I can't make this up. I'm not lying to you. And I said, are you God serious? And she said, yeah. And I said, so what did you talk about? She said, absolutely nothing. I just got a meal. Remember that, everybody. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? Now, guys, you got to watch women like that, because this woman took 5 different men in one day to fancy restaurants where the money, I mean, where the food was, honest to God, I'm not making this up. Now, keep in mind, she took one of 5 different dates. She told me, I almost fainted on the phone. We didn't become friends anymore. And she had these guys take her to a very fancy dinner. The one guy, she told me, and this is no lie, I couldn't even sit here and make up a story. I couldn't be friends with her no more. We met in real estate class. She said the one guy that she actually had him buy her 3 dinners for her kids, and they were $75 a piece. I almost fainted. I couldn't believe this. And so she had 3 expensive dinners for her kids. Plus, he bought her meal. Now, what kind of man would put up with something like this? Then, I mean, this is what she did. 5. Can you imagine? I'm like, girl, this is terrible. I mean, I can't be. This was so many years when I was in my 30s. But I couldn't be friends with somebody like that because it was so disgraceful, right? But here's what I'm saying, guys. You got to be careful, because there's women that they will have you take them to fancy dinners, but there's no conversation. Do you get what I'm saying? And then I knew someone that actually, a guy had her take him to a fancy dinner, and had her, and she came into the hair salon and told us this, that he invited her to this fancy dinner, and little did she know that she had to pay $300 out of her pocket. She had to put on her credit card for that dinner. He didn't pay for it. So this is why you always meet for coffee. That way nobody can do, you got to feel the person out, everyone. You got to feel their intentions out. Because when people are fixing to do all this highfalutin stuff, guess what you're going to get? That's exactly what you're going to get. And that's exactly what you're going to pay for. So, you know, let's tap out something beautiful. Let's see what this beautiful piece of art is going to tell us tonight, everyone. This is going to be nice. Look at this. I have to say, I won't pay anything for a woman at first date. She either likes me. Exactly. Exactly. You got to be very careful. You got to be very careful. Very, very, very careful. Very careful out there, guys. I mean, this is a crazy world out there, you know? There's a lot of people, and I'm not just saying there's a lot of women. I mean, I hate to say it. I'm a woman, but I mean, there's women out there with bad intentions for some guys, you know? They'll try to pin you down to have your baby. And then when they get pregnant, they get mad. I mean, there is women out there that fix to do all kind of shit. And it is actually real. I'm not making this. I pity some men because, you know, it's a hard drag out there, right? Because you just don't know what is real and what is going on. Look at that. I just love this. Look at this. Look at this beautiful piece of art. It numbs your mind, but it takes you to this place. Oh, thank you, honey. Thank you. Oh, thank you, babe. But look at this. This takes our mind to somewhere that is just too good to be true, right? It's like a love song. Look at that. That's beautiful. I don't know which way we're supposed to see it tonight. I love it. It's like we're rebirthing. We're coming out. You see that? It's like a baby in a womb, and we're rebirthing our lives on here, everybody. We're all in this rebirth situation. I don't think we're meant to see it like this because I feel like we're all in this rebirth situation and we're going to come out of it, right? Oh, thank you, honey. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Thank you. You know? But just like this board says, we're all going through something. It's just how we handle it that matters the most, right? Everybody's going through something. It doesn't matter, everyone. I'm God serious. It doesn't matter who you are. There's something about life that we're all going through something, right? Let's get an album. And it's 39 minutes into this, but I won't keep this too long on here actually, because we got, you know, maybe tomorrow I'll take off, everybody. But I'll be back on tomorrow's Sunday. So I'll be doing a little drive-by to say hi tomorrow, but I won't be tapping in the evening, everybody, unless I rest up and stuff, right? But I wanted to talk about, my intuition's hitting me, everybody, to talk about this. Because You know, I'm listen, my mom's old school ways are tapping into me, and what she used to tell me when I was a little girl, right? And the lessons that were like she would teach me, and I'd sit there and cry because she's trying to she used to talk to me like an adult. And honest to God, my mom never talked to me. You go off now. Do I go off now? No, I'm not going off now. Um, my my mom never talked to me like I was a child. She always talked to me like I was an adult. And I mean, my mom was this type of woman that there was no this way nor that way, right? She didn't play games, everybody. And I'm sitting and thinking, you know, when I'm actually thinking about a number of things in my brain that my intuition wants me to talk about, and it's really weird. I don't know. It's going off here, there, everywhere. Maybe it'll make sense to some people, right? Just let me just get it going because there's a couple things that my intuition wants me to talk about. And I'm gonna get to this one here because when I was younger, um, there was no um all this confusion, right? All this like gender confusion. No, I'm not lying to you. There was none of, I've never heard of any, honest to God. I am 57 years old. And my intuition wants me to say this, and I don't know why, right? I love everybody because I realize that there's so many things in life that can happen to somebody that can make them who they are and how they are, right? So I was thinking back when I was younger. I never knew anybody that didn't know whether they were this way or that way because they knew which way they were, right? And suddenly the world's changed, everybody. And we got social media and we got cell phones. And back when I was younger, we didn't have cell phones. And when the cell phones came out, I had this big cell phone, right? And suddenly there was social media and internet, right? And I'll get to it, everybody. Just give me time. Give me time. Give me time to get to it. And suddenly, things that were wrong suddenly became right. And things that were right suddenly became wrong. Suddenly, things that were good all of a sudden was bad. And then we find ourselves in different groups, right? With different people. And then suddenly, it's like, but that person says, well, I'm this way. Are you feeling that way? Because I know you're this way, but are you feeling this way? Because listen, I'm this way and I'm just wondering if you're that way. And suddenly, kids these days are in groups with other kids, other teenagers that are starting to explore various things. And suddenly, here's where it takes a turn. Whoops. Here's where it takes a turn, everybody. And I'm not lying to you. And this is the scary part. If you have kids, you have teenagers, young adults. Oh, thank you. And here's where it takes a turn, everybody. And I'm not making this up because, you know, I asked the Lord to give me the guidance with my intuition to help anybody and to talk about things and give me that guidance because, you know, Lord knows I don't want to be on here lying to nobody. And suddenly, here we go. We have the internet. I'll get to it. I'll get to it. And suddenly, how we grew up, where we never knew that there was a choice to be this way or that way. It was either you're this way because you were born this way. And suddenly, guess what? Guess what happens? Your kids start having friends. Friends that, you know, hey, it's okay to be this way because I'm this way. But then if you want to be that way, it's okay also. Suddenly, here's your kids in this confusion bubble. Something that we have never experienced, because guess what? In our 50 plus years of life, we've never experienced anything like that. You're either this way because you're not that way, or this way. But suddenly your kids are growing up. They're meeting people, right? Seriously. Think about it, everybody. Think about it. And then the world changes. And then what was wrong or not accepted because you didn't hear about it suddenly becomes right. And not because maybe that teenager was thinking that they were that way. It could be that way that they were thinking because social media and their friends allow them to be whatever way they want to be. But you as the parent know that that's not right. But listen, your kids got to have friends, right? It's really sad, everybody, how I see this now, how young adults are suddenly, hold on one second, I have to turn this down. Okay, hold on one second, I have to turn that down. And suddenly, the young adults they're this way, they're that way, and they're any way they want to be, because that's what their friends are. Their friends have parents that aren't guiding them right. They're going this way because my friends are that way, and they walk that way, and they talk that way. Get what I'm saying? And suddenly this world changes so much. And suddenly our kids change because guess what? They're in the world with kids that their parents just let them be whatever they want to be, instead of sitting them down and going, this isn't right. It's not right. But my friends said this is right because they're this way, then one day, right? And then the next day they're this way. But the next day, my friends are this way. But I'm here. And is it okay to be just as I am? Or do I have to go this way or that way or up there or down there? And right now, right? These kids don't know which way they are. Everybody, this is dangerous. It's sad. It's sad because suddenly everything that is wrong is right, and everything that's right is wrong. And that is how it is. It's really sad. And so people are going, well, how do I shield my kids from the teenagers that they're just this way one day and that way the next day? And then the next day, guess what? Well, I'm going to be this way because that way is cool. Because just being how I am is not cool enough. I gotta be this way because I want to fit in with my friends that are that way. Right? Because after all, they want to be a different person that day. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. And this is what's happening to all of our kids and all of the youth anymore, is something is happening to them. There's something going on. It's something switching and shifting and turning and moving. And yes, people are born that way, because guess what? I worked at a hair salon where I saw young kids that were little children that thought they were boys and they were girls, and boys that thought they were girls. I saw that because I worked at a children's hair cutting place. And this is what we're dealing with, everybody. And this is what your kids got to deal with now, because they're on social media and they got friends that any day they could be whoever they want to be. And it's okay. It's okay. They don't have to listen to what is in the Bible. Who cares? They don't have to be the gender that they were born in. They weren't born that way. Remember, their friends are telling them. And suddenly, everything goes downhill. And this is why, everyone, the world is so traumatized. Our kids are traumatized because they got to have friends. But then the friends that they meet, you got to kind of wonder what's going on, because those friends are so influential, right? And then suddenly your child is lost forever. Or are they lost forever, right? Because, you know, everything is a phase. Everything's a phase, right? It doesn't matter if they're in high school, going to college, everything's a phase. It's really sad, everybody. Yes. And I'm not saying anything to downplay how some people are really actually born this way. Let's talk about that real quick, because that's what my intuition wants to say. Let's talk about how some people are honest to God born that way. Because after all, some people will be parents someday, and you have to face this. And some people are already facing it. I've seen this working at a hair salon for children. I've seen parents have to face this. And there are actually kids that are born different and feel different. And that's a whole different thing, right? But then you got to kind of wonder what is born this way and what is created this way, right? Because there's two different things, everybody. People can be born that way, or their friends can create their narrative for their life. Think about it, everyone. Think about it. Now, when we were younger, if you're 50 plus, we didn't hear of this or that, right? We heard this. Yes, that's right, Jason. Then everybody, with that being said for tonight, because we're going near in an hour. This world's different, isn't it? And this is why people are so sad. Some people are so sad because of situations with their kids, with everything that they got going on, and add more stuff onto it, right? My roommate. So, I love yous, everybody. And tomorrow I'll be back for a little intuitive, a little scratch and talk. Because you know how I do that in the afternoon, everybody. Come back for scratch and talk. Because we're nearing an hour of power on here, right? And don't forget, everybody, because I'm going to be going over here and making a few little snips, a little quick videos. And don't forget to go over to my channel, Intuitive Tap Counselor, where my intuition is your guide. Give it a try. And I love yous, everybody. Stay positive. Maybe we'll tap this one out for the night. We got two little taps. Let's see. Let's just tap this one out for a good one tonight, right? And you know what? I was thinking about this, everybody, in closing with this, because when I was a hairdresser, I saw everything. I saw so many different types of people, so many different types of teenagers, so many different types of people, right? And so when I would see the teenagers that that told me that they were a certain way, right? That they weren't born that way. And I asked him, and I'm like, well, why? How did you know that you wanted to be a girl? I have a young man that actually comes to my stand every year that I set up, and this is no lie. He's 20 some years old. His mother died, and he's with his aunt or somebody, I don't know, but he comes to my stand all the time. Very flamboyant, very, wears nail polish. I don't judge anyone. And he always comes to talk to me, and I always told him, you can call me anytime to talk to me. And I said, when did you know that you wanted to be a girl and dress like a girl and act like a girl when you're telling me that people are judging you so brutally? And he says, well, when I was a little boy. And I said, well, did something happen to you? And he said, no. And I said, well, how did you know that you wanted to be a girl and dress like a girl? Because you're standing here and you're telling me that the world is so hard on you, and because they don't understand you, right? And it's a lot, because here he was hanging around these people that were just out there. It's sad, everybody. How your people can be influenced by other people is so real. It's this is real when you're dealing with young people. They can be so heavily influenced by friends, and suddenly a man wearing nail polish is nothing. Put a little black polish on it and call it a day. And then it goes from that to, oh, don't worry about it. Guys can wear makeup. And then it just goes from there, and it just goes and goes and goes. And before you know it, you lost your true identity. And then you're trying to find a reason to hang on to that new one when you know that's not right, right? And a lot of young people, everybody, they do that. If they don't have a lot of friends, they'll go to friends that are feeling a certain way. But when I sit down and talk to these kind of kids, right? I'm sure he does. He likes other things too. But when I sit down and talk to a lot of these young people, and I tell them that, do you know that however you were born is all right with the world. That's how we walk in lockstep with this world. How we came into this world, right? Not what the world wants us to be, but how we were born to be, right? Doesn't matter what your friends say is okay. It doesn't matter that your friends tell you that you can be this way today and tomorrow you can be that way. Don't work that way. Doesn't work that way. So you go back and you rewind when you were a boy. You sit down and you think about things before you go, okay, well, I want to be this way today. Because today's today and tomorrow's tomorrow, and next week's next week. And next week I just might want to hang out with these people again. But deep down inside, you know you're a boy. Right? And here's where it gets twisted. And here's where it gets twisted. Because before you know it, yes, right. And before you know it, everybody, Your kids are lost to this kind of agenda. And it is an agenda, everybody. It really is. It's an agenda. Because there's an agenda to have our young people that are hurting in some way. Whatever way it is. Doesn't matter their income level or not. A lot of kids are hurting in some way or another. And then you get other kids that are hurting in some other realm. It doesn't matter how rich these kids are. It doesn't matter how poor they are. And then all of a sudden, what they're hurting about, whether it's a parent that they're mad at, well, what are they going to do? When they're mad at you, you're the parent, and they're mad at you, and they're talking to their friends. And what's the rebellion point, everybody, to these kids? What is the rebellion point? If you're trying to make a point to your parents that you're mad at, what is the rebellion point that you do? You do something so different that's going to hurt their soul beyond the scope of this earth. It's not because they want to be like that. It's because they want to hurt that parent so bad because they're mad at them, right? So what better way do I hurt that person than to be something that they don't even like? Doesn't mean that I'm like that. But to get back at that person, I just want to do this. A lot of kids do that, everybody. Absolutely. It's not that they're trying to go, well, I want to be a girl when they're a boy. That get back to that parent is so intense that these kids are willing to say that, listen, I might be your son, but now I'm your daughter because I don't like you anymore. And I will show you how I don't like you because I'm mad at you. So what will I do to make you hurt? This is how some kids are. I'm your son. But now, I can't stand you. So I'm going to be your daughter. And this is how these young kids' minds are being twisted and manipulated. Because when they're with other kids that are mad at their parents and mad as hell, suddenly, guess what? Being gay is normal. Being somebody other than what you were born is normal because guess what? They can't stand that parent anymore. And the get back is the payback of the pain that they feel like the parent has inflicted on them. And suddenly, they just want to be somebody else, knowing damn well that they're a boy, knowing damn well that they're a girl. But to get back to the get back of that parent, they will damn sure turn the other cheek, knowing that their parents were hurt like hell. It's not that they're like that, right? Yeah, that's right. So when your child says they can't stand you and they want to be somebody else, guess what? And they're an adult, or they want to act like they're an adult. Guess what? You go right ahead because you're not hurting me. You're hurting yourself. And that is what you got to think as a parent, that your son has turned that way, or your daughter. They're trying to hurt you. But guess what? You got to say to them, you're not hurting me. You're hurting yourself. Do you not understand this? But you could be hurting inside, but don't never give them that opportunity to let them know that that hurts you. Do you understand that? Don't never let that young person give you, the parent, the opportunity to let them see that you're in pain, because guess what? They'll just magnify that more and more and more and more. Perfect example, and I don't like to use names on here. I don't want to use names, but a perfect example, right? As we see so many influential people, and I don't want to name any names, but you see how their children are acting, and they're just somebody else because they don't like how that parent raised them. They don't like how a little structure got to them. So guess what, Dad? I want to be somebody else because I know that you will not like that. And this is what they're doing. It's not because they want to change their sex. Or maybe sometimes they really do, just to really put a dagger in it. And little do they know that when they're changing their sex to get back at their parent, they're only getting back at themselves. Because as they grow up and grow into a real adult in their 30s and 40s and 50s, they will realize that guess what? They made a mistake. And they will realize that guess what? I'm no longer wanting to be that girl that I call myself. But I'm actually the boy that you raised me to be. But that get back with these kids anymore is so powerful and so painful. But as parents, you cannot fall into what they're doing. You cannot respond to your young adult that is another person now that you don't even know. You cannot respond to that bullshit because that's what it is. It's the get back of trying to get back. And so when you respond as a parent, that's their fuel to their fire, and it drives them to be that other person more and more, right? So when you step back and let that person just be who they think they are because they're trying to do the get back. What? Suddenly, they're going to realize that guess what? They were only hurting themselves. They weren't hurting you as a parent. They hurt you as a parent for a brief moment because how dare you? You're my son or my daughter. And because you are so mad at me, you want to just do this to me, hurt me, publicly, privately. And that get back is so painful. But you as a parent have to stand strong and not respond to that get back that your young adult is trying to do to you. Because they're just trying to get that response. Because when you respond, it takes them and drives them deeper into, guess what? Being a gay woman, that they're a man, but it drives them deeper into something they're not. Get what I'm saying? It drives them deeper into that other person that they're trying to tell you they are now. But they really aren't now. It's just to get back to the get back. Until they realize and they grow up and realize that they were only hurting their own selves. That's what it's about. Yes, absolutely. So when you have a child, a young adult, that thinks they know everything, that's on this path of gender identity, because they're on that path of gender identity because guess what? They're trying to get back at that parent that they are so goddamn mad at. And they're mad. And guess what you do? You don't say a word. And when you don't say nothing, that eats them up inside, because they want you to say something that you don't like that new person that they are. Because when you respond and say something negative about that new person that they are, that gives them the okay to be driven further that way to that new person that they are. Do you get what I'm saying? So when they're talking that crazy shit and saying they're so and so and this and that, no, they're not. That's the get back to the get back, because they're mad at you. You're the parent. They're mad at you because you're the parent. They're mad. Has nothing to do with you as a parent. Nothing. It doesn't matter if you're a parent that works so much and owns so much. And you can give so much to each child, right? But you're a good parent. And you love each child equally. Doesn't matter. But that one is so angry and and what? And what, new person? And what? You want me to respond to your new person's name? Absolutely not. Do you want me to respond to how you're acting on social media as this new person? Get what I'm saying? No response to these young adults that are mad at their parents is better than a response that's going to drive them more deeper into the realm of who they're thinking they are. You get what I'm saying? And it's really real, everybody. It's true. Because when these young adults want challenged and they think they know everything, they think these young adults that are mad at their parents and they're somebody else now. Because I'm going to put a dagger in you, Dad or Mom. Because I don't like you anymore. I don't have your name. But you have my DNA. That's all that matters. And you are not that person right there. And I am not responding to your damn bullshit, little girl. I'm not responding. And guess what? No response shuts their shit down so fast. But when you go on and say you lost them, you didn't lose them. They're still right there. That's just them getting back. And they'll do anything. And what better way is to get back than to be somebody else? Do you get what I mean? Don't entertain it. Don't worry about it. They'll come back around when their chips are falling down. They'll come back around. Oh, you're not so-and-so anymore? I get it. You're my son. Now you get this, right? When you don't entertain these kids' bullshit, they have nowhere to go. They have nowhere to go because that parent that they're so mad at, there is nowhere for these kids to go. They can run to their new person that they say they are if the parent feeds into what their bullshit is. You get what I mean? If you just let them do what they want to do and not even entertain them because it's bullshit. Because they got your DNA and you know who they are. And they know who they are. But they just mad at you. And they want a response. And they want to fight on social media. And they want to be right. And they want everybody to go, look. Look at how he's acting. Or look at how she's acting. That's my mother. That's my father. Look how they're acting towards me. I am this person now. I'm not him. I'm this person. I want everybody to see me as this person now. Please. I want to hurt my father. I want to hurt my mother because I'm this person now. And you're this person now? Well, guess what? Go be that person. But you will get shit from me. And you're not even going to get a response from me. Because I'm not going to drive you further into that world that you are not supposed to be in. Don't respond to these kids that are like this. They want you to hurt. They want to see your pain in every tweet, in every word that you say. It fuels their fire. It fuels their notion that they're hurting you. And no response can't give them shit. And then eventually, when they grow up, guess what? They'll get what you mean. And how they were born that way, a boy or a girl, and they weren't born this way, that they're trying to get back at, let them go. Don't even respond to this craziness out of these young adults who think they know better than everybody else. And I'm so mad at you. I'm so mad at you. Right, exactly. Well, guess what? Stay mad. But guess what? I had you. I know what you're about. And you're not about that. And that don't hurt me. I will not let that hurt me. Even though you're hurting inside as a parent. You never let these young adults see a sweat. And with that being said, everybody, have a blessed night. And I will see you when I see you. A little drive-by. Yes, that's right, Jason. Absolutely. It's like you can never tell how, like, you can be so good to your kids, right? And give them things that they need. Help them along the way. And suddenly they get mad at you. They'll let you know it. Don't even entertain them. Don't even say anything. Don't even say anything about them. Let them talk. Let them go on social media and run their mouths. Because guess what? They want everybody to see this new person. Talk. And you keep doing your business. Have a blessed night, everybody. See you tomorrow. And that's right, Jason. That's why we live in love. That's why, right? Have a blessed night.